Shatranj is an old form of chess which came to the Western world by the Persians and later Greeks, and ultimately from India via the Persian Empire. Modern chess gradually developed from this game. Etymology and origins. The Arabic word Shatranj is derived from the Sanskrit Chaturanga. In Middle Persian the word appears as Chatrang, with the u lost due to syncope and the a lost to apocope. For example, in the title of the text Untitled Chatrang from the 7th century AD, in Persian folk etymology Shat means 100 and Ranj means waris, then it becomes 100 waris. Persian text refers to Shah Ardashir I, who ruled from 224 to 241, as a master of the game. By the help of Providence, Ardashir became more victorious and warlike than all on the polo and the riding ground, at Chatrang and Vinatakshir, and in several other arts. However, Khan Ahmed contains many fables and legends, and this only establishes the popularity of Chatrang at the time of its composition. During the reign of the later Sassanid king Khosrau I, a gift from an Indian king included a chess game with 16 pieces of emerald and 16 of ruby. The game came with a challenge which was successfully resolved by Khosrau's courtiers. This incident, originally referred to in the Untitled Chatrang, is also mentioned in Firdausi's Shahnameh. The rules of Chaturanga seen in India today have enormous variation, but all involve 4 branches of the army: the horse, the elephant, the chariot and the foot soldier, played on an 8x8 board. Shatranj adapted much of the same rules as Chaturanga, and also the basic 16-piece structure. There is also a larger 10x11 board derivative, the 14th century Tamerlane chess, or Shatranj camel, with a slightly different piece structure. In some later variants the darker squares were engraved. The game spread westwards after the Islamic conquest of Persia, and a considerable body of literature on game tactics and strategy was produced from the 8th century onwards. With the spread of Islam, chess diffused into the Maghreb and then to Andalusian Spain. During the Islamic conquest of India, some forms came back to India as well, as evidenced in the North Indian term mat of the Bengali Bori. Over the following centuries, chess became popular in Europe, eventually giving rise to modern chess. Rules. The initial setup in Shatranj was essentially the same as in modern chess. However, the position of the white Shah on the right, the left side, was not fixed. Either the arrangement as in modern chess or as shown in the diagram were possible. In either case, the white and black Shah would be on the same file. The game was played with these pieces: Shah moves like the king in chess. Furs moves exactly 1 square diagonally, which makes it a rather weak piece. It was renamed Queen in Europe. Even today, the word for the queen piece is in Russian, vezekutar in Hungarian, vezir in Turkish, vazir in Persian, and wazir in Arabic. It has analog to the guards in Zhangqi. Rook moves like the rook in chess. Pil, alfil, alfen, and similar moves exactly 2 squares diagonally, jumping over the square between. Each pill could reach only 1/8 of the squares on the board, and because the circuits were disjoint, they could never capture one another. This piece might have had a different move sometimes in Chaturanga, where the piece is also called elephant. The pill was replaced by the bishop in modern chess. Even today, the word for the bishop piece is alfil in Spanish, alfiere in Italian, fil in Turkish, fil in Persian and Arabic, and in Russian. The elephant piece survives in Zhangqi with the limitations that the elephant in Zhangqi cannot jump over an intervening piece and is restricted to the owner's half of the board. In Jangi, its movement was changed to become a slightly further-reaching version of the horse. ASB moves like the knight in chess, Sarbaz in Persian, and adopted later to Baydak in Arabic as a broken plural. Foot soldier moves and captures like the pawns in chess, but not moving 2 squares on the first move. When they reach the 8th rank, they are promoted, but only to furs. Pieces are shown on the diagrams and recorded in the notation using the equivalent modern symbols, as in the table above. In modern descriptions of Shatranj, the names king, rook, knight and pawn are commonly used for Shah, Ruk, Faris, and Baydak. There were also other differences compared to modern chess. Castling was not allowed. Stalemating the opposing king resulted in a win for the player delivering stalemate. Capturing all one's opponent's pieces apart from the king was a win, unless your opponent could capture your last piece on his next move. Then in most parts of the Islamic world it was a draw, but in Medina it was a win. History. Middle Persian literature. 3 books written in Pahlavi, Karnamagaya-i-Pabegan, Khosrau and Ridag, and Wizarizan-i Chaturanga, also known as the Chaturanga, all mention Shatranj. In Karnamaka it is said that Ardashir, with the help of the gods, became more victorious and experienced than all others in polo, horsemanship, chess, backgammon, and other arts, and in the small treatise on Khosrau and Ridag, the latter declares that he is superior to his comrades in chess, backgammon, and hastpay. Bozorgmer, the author of Wizarizan-i Chaturanga, describes how the game of chess was sent as a test to Khosrau I by the king of the Hindus Devsam, with the envoy Taxteritus, and how the test was answered by the vizier Bozorgmer, who in his turn invented the game backgammon as a test for the Hindus. These 3 Middle Persian sources do not give any certain indication of the date when chess was introduced into Persia. The mentions of chess in Karnamagaya-i-Pabegan and Khosrau and Ridag are simply conventional and may easily represent late Sasanian or even post-Sasanian redactions. However, Wizarizan-i Chaturanga was written in the 6th century and the texts still exist. Early Arabic literature. During the Islamic Golden Age, many works on Shatranj were written, recording for the first time the analysis of opening games, chess problems, the knight's tour, and many more subjects common in modern chess books. Many of these manuscripts are missing, but their content is known due to compilation work done by the later authors. The earliest listing of works on chess is in the Fihrist, a general bibliography produced in 377 by Ibn al-Nadim. It includes an entire section on the topic of chess, listing Al-Adli's Kitab ash-Shatranj, Ar-Razi's Latif fi Shatranj, Az-Suli's Kitab ash-Shatranj, Al-Lajlaj's Kitab Mansabat ash-Shatranj, B. Al-Uqaydisi's Kitab Majmuz fi Mansabat ash-Shatranj. There is a passage referring to chess in a work said to be by Al-Hasan al-Bashri, a philosopher from Basra who died in 728 AD. The attribution of authorship is dubious, however. Player classification. Ali Dli as well as Az-Suli introduced classifications of players by the playing strength. Both of them specify 5 classes of players: Elite, Grandees, Mudakaribat, Proxime, players who could win 2 to 4 games out of 10 in the match against Hadi. They received odds of a pawn from Hadi. Third class, players who received odds of a fur from Hadi. Fourth class received odds of a knight. Fifth class received odds of a rook. To determine a player's class, a match would be undertaken with a player of a known class without odds. If the player won 7 or more games out of 10, he belonged to a higher class. Players during the reign of the Arab caliphs, Shatranj players of highest class were called the Liyut grandees. There were only a few players in this category, including Jabir al-Kufi, Rabrab and Abun-Nam were 3 Liyut players during the rule of Caliph al-Ma'mun. Ali Dli was the strongest player during the rule of Caliph al-Wathiq. At this time he was the only player in a Liyut category. Al-Arazi in 847 won a match against an already old Ali Dli in the presence of Caliph al-Mutawakkil and so become a player of a Liyut category. Az-Suli was the strongest player during the reign of Caliph al-Muqtafi. Al-Arazi was already dead and there were no players of comparable strength before Az-Suli appeared on the scene. In the presence of al-Muqtafi, he easily won a match against a certain al-Mawardi and thus proved that he was the best player of that time. Az-Suli considered Rabrab bin Arazi as the greatest of his predecessors. Al-Lajlaj was a pupil of Az-Suli and also a great Shatranj master of his time. Gameplay. Openings in Shatranj were usually called tabia, which can be translated as battle array. Due to slow piece development in Shatranj, the exact sequence of moves was relatively unimportant. Instead, players aimed to reach a specific position, tabia, mostly ignoring the play of their opponent. The works of Ali Dli and Az-Suli contain collections of tabayut. Tabayut were usually given as position on a half-board with some comments about them. The concrete sequence of moves to reach them was not specified. In his book Al-Lajlaj analyzed some tabia in detail. He started his analysis from some given opening, for example, double mujana or mujana mashaki, and then continued up to move 40, giving numerous variations. Piece values. Both Ali Dli and Az-Suli provided estimation of piece values in the books on Shatranj. They used a monetary system to specify piece values. For example, Az-Suli gives piece values in dirham, the currency in use in his time. The chess pieces were often shaped to avoid any representation of a real living thing. Az-Suli also believed that the b-pawn was better than the f-pawn and the king-side alfil was better than the queen-side one. Furthermore, an alfil on the c-file was better than the d-pawn and the alfil on the f-file was better than an e-pawn. Mansubat. Persian chess masters composed many Shatranj problems. Such Shatranj problems were called mansuba. This word can be translated from Arabic as arrangement, position or situation. Mansubat were typically composed in such a way that a win could be achieved as a sequence of checks. One's own king was usually threatened by immediate checkmate. One mansuba is the Dilaram problem. Black threatens immediate checkmate by 1 Ra2 hash or R8 hash, but white can win with a 2 rook sacrifice. 1 Rh8 plus kxh8 bf5 plus kilogram 8-3 Rh8 plus kxh8 g7 plus kilogram 8-5 nh6 hash. Note that the alfil moves 2 squares diagonally, jumping over intermediate pieces. This allows it to jump over the white knight to deliver the discovered check from the second rook with 2 bf5+. It was said that a nobleman wagered his wife Dilaram on a chess game and this position arose. She appealed, "Sacrifice your 2 rooks, and not me."